Today we're going to work with report speech. What is report speech? As its name says, report means retelling or say again what another person says, okay? That is the report speech. It has certain rules depending on the verb tense in which the original sentence is given, okay? And those tenses cannot be changed. Remember that last week when we talked about the active voice and the passive voice. We said that we have the active voice that is telling what the person says, and passive voice telling the action, but not the person or subject who does the action. In report speech, we're going to have also an active voice. And the report speech is when another person refers, retells, or says again what the first person said. For the report speech, we use two verbs. We use the verb say, that is the most common, and the verb tell plus an object pronoun. And that object pronoun is the person who tells me or who told me some information, the person that gave me some information. For example, Maria told me, okay? Or instead of Maria said. This say and tell is always in past tense, okay? Why in past tense? Because you are saying again, or you are retelling what another person said or another person told you. So these verbs are always in simple past. Always in simple past. Okay? Notice that this says, he said, I haven't seen you for a long time. Okay? Indirect or reported speech is how we report or tell what another person says. In this case, the original sentence could have been, Peter, I haven't seen you for a long time. For a long time. Okay? That's the original, that's the active voice. So when I reported, he said he hadn't seen me for a long time because Peter is talking to me and I am reporting or retelling what he said. Okay? The report speech has definite changes. Okay? Any question about the meaning of the report speech expression that we said, or we retell the information another person gave me or gave a different person?
I think no, miss.
Okay. So when we change from direct speech to reported speech or indirect idea, that's the other name this expression has. Okay, you can find it also in dictionaries as indirect ideas. The changes in the verbs are always fixed. If the person speaks in present simple, we report in simple past. If the person talks in present continuous, we report in past continuous. If the person speaks in present perfect, we report in past perfect. Likewise with simple past. In the case of present perfect and simple past, we always change to the past perfect, okay? It's the same change. Okay, both are changed to past perfect. If somebody talks to me using will, I would use would. And if someone talks to me and uses can, I change that can to could. It's like every sentence you receive in direct speech changes to its past form. Okay? The only thing we need to remember is that present perfect and past simple changes both of them to past perfect. Okay? Is clear up to here?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. They say we also need to make some changes. What people say. I have already told you. She says she had already told me. We live in Paris. They say they live in Paris. Remember that this is the person we report. Possessive adjectives. I've mended my bike. He said he'd mended his bike. We love our flat. They said they loved their flat. Okay. When we have time, we also change it. Tomorrow for the next day and here for there. Okay. This is the time reference, tomorrow for the next day and here from there. Okay. Now changes to then. Okay. Here it isn't, but when we have now, it changes to then. And they say, Maria was reading the newspaper. Maria is reading the newspaper now. I said, Maria said she was reading the newspaper then. Because remember, we're talking in past tense. Okay? Miss, and if I want to stay there, in that case, it doesn't change. The ones that change are here to there, tomorrow for the next day, and now for then. Okay? I don't know why this change is not included, but that's the way we use it. Okay? Why from now to then? Because I'm reporting. I'm saying what the person told me or said in the past. When I report, I am in a different verb tense. Okay? Questions up to now again? Nevertheless, we're going to check if you really got it when we do the exercises. Okay? But no questions up to now?
Um, it's a little confused, but I think it's okay.
In the meantime, you stay yourself into the verb changes pattern and the possessive adjectives, time reference, and place reference. It's okay. I know it's a lot of things to remember, but report speech is used very, very, very often in English. Because if a friend of yours says, hey, Bianca, I'm not going to class today. Okay, your friend Paula. And somebody says, oh, Paula is not here. Bianca, do you know what happened with Paula? You say, oh, yes, she told me she wasn't going to class today. Okay, she wasn't going. Why? Because in the morning, she told you she is not going to class. Okay? So it's a matter of first logics and then remember the verb tenses, the verb changes from present to past, from past and present perfect to past perfect, will, would, can, could. Okay. So it's a matter of remembering and practicing. Okay. Then we have the reported commands. You remember the commands or imperatives, also called imperatives or requests. When you tell a person to do something, usually to kids, or when you talk with a large audience or a group of people. So when we said, for example, stop talking, the boss told them to stop talking. So we change the direct commands or requests by adding to before the request. Their boss told them to stop talking. the father told his daughter not to be late. So just before the command, when we report, we use the not, the to, or the not to. And you might say, okay, miss, but what about if I don't know who speaks? No, you always know who speaks. Notice that here in the exercises, okay, they say, let's do first report speech and then the way back. Okay, so notice, I'm leaving university at the end of the next year. And you have here the reference. He said, she said, she said, she told him, they said, he said, she said. You always have a reference about the gender or the pronoun of the people who spoke first. So for example, I'm leaving university at the end of the next year. He said, aha, not I, but he. He said, I am leaving changes to was living. He was leaving the university. Okay, she said she was leaving the university. And here comes also the other change. She was leaving the university at the end of and you say, miss, in the explanation is not next year, but we have tomorrow. Tomorrow is changed to the next day. So here he was leaving the university next year. Okay, what, but miss, why? Because as we don't say tomorrow, all the references for the future changes to the next. Okay, give me a second. I'm trying to take this out. I don't know why it doesn't take it. So let me put this on. He was leaving the university at the end of next year. Why? Because we're talking about the future. The future was mentioned in the active. Okay? So he said he was leaving the university at the end of next year. Okay? Here we have next day, next year. Okay? So I've got a surprise for you. She said, how can I make the change, Bianca? Because we're talking about she. She said,
No, it's okay.
okay, but tell me, what's the change? I've got a surprise for you. She said,
She said she had.
she said, we use the same pronoun from the set. She said, she
She had.
She had. What about the rest of the sentence? She had.
Already told me.
Remember, you are changing this. I've got a surprise for you. She had.
Sorry, es que I on my phone, entonces, sorry.
Okay,
Okay.
she had.
She had, she said she had. No, she.
Remember, you are telling what she said. You are retelling the information she gave. So she said she had You're changing from
Got.
present perfect to past perfect. She has got, she had got.
A surprise for you.
You're talking about what she told you. I've got a surprise for you or for me?
For me.
Okay, she had got a surprise for me. Then we have shut the door. She told him, remember here we have the reported commands and we add to or not to. Okay? So she told him.
She told him then.
Look. We can use tell to report commands. We need to include the object, the person who needs to listen to the command, plus infinitive after tell. Their boss told them to stop talking. Don't be late. The father told his daughter not to be late. So, shut the door. She told him, infinitive or the imperative.
She told him. No, she.
She told him.
Sé.
Focus, okay? We can use tell to report commands. We need to include the object, okay, the person who needs to listen to the command, plus infinitive after tell. In the affirmative, we use to stop talking, and in the negative, we use not to. Not to be late. For the case of don't be late. Okay? So we use, in the affirmative, we add the to before the verb. And in the negative, we add not to before the verb when we do the reporting, not to. So here we have an affirmative. Shut the door. It is affirmative. We have here their boss told them to stop talking, to before the verb of the command in the affirmative. The father told his daughter not to before the verb of the imperative. So if here the verb of the imperative is shut, and she's talking to him, what do we need?
To shut the door.
To shut the door is the easiest. Okay, this is the easiest because the only thing that you have to do is to put shut or not to plus the verb of the infinitive of the imperative, or just put the imperative preceded by to for the affirmative or not to for the negative. We have all passed our English exam. They said,
they said they had passed the English exam.
No, our English exam. They are talking about they, which is the possessive adjective. It's the exam that belongs to they.
Okay. The English exam.
Their English exam. Okay, they had passed their English exam. We cannot say they had passed our English exam because they are talking about the English exam they took. So they said they had passed their English exam. Next, he said, it's my birthday tomorrow. Remember, this he passes to the indirect or report speech. He said,
He said was my birthday tomorrow.
no. Which is the subject here?
X.
Aha. He said,
That's my no.
no, he said,
Okay.
what event he's talking about? He
Would
said,
in future. I think so. Okay.
his birthday from present, it changed into
He said
present
he
to
to
present to
past simple.
past simple. So he said his birthday,
X tomorrow.
it's no, we're changing. Focus, please. Focus your attention here. Here says, from present into past. Go, went. Is,
When tomorrow.
what's the past tense of is?
Oh, no entiendo.
This is present tense. Here the verb is was. Why? Because here says it is my birthday tomorrow. Okay. What's the subject of the sentence? The birthday, not it. Why we use it here? Because as you should have learned before, this is an impersonal. Okay. So we say, for example, it is my birthday. It is Maria's party tomorrow. But I can also say Maria's party is. That's why we take out the it is and we make the sentence direct. So this is the verb of the sentence. As we change from present to past, he said his birthday was the next day. Because tomorrow changes to the next day. Okay? He said his birthday was the next day. Él dijo que su cumpleaños era el día siguiente. So we cannot say he said it was his birthday the next day. Can I say it? Yes, it is possible to be said, but it's unnatural. No, people wouldn't say that. If we got to the strict change, I can say, he said it was his birthday the next day. But it sounds strange. It sounds like forced. That's why instead of saying it was his birthday the next day, we change the sentence. I would say he said his birthday was the next day. Both are correct. But the red one is the one that people use the most. Okay? You got to check this. Why we use it is for impersonals, like it is raining, it is sunny with the weather, it's windy. Okay. You are the only person I know who likes classical music. She said,
Mm, she said, um,
remember,
she
she's talking to you.
she said she
You are retelling what she said.
um
She told me,
she said
or she said. Remember that we can also imagine that she says, she told me. Both are valid for the report speech. So she told me,
she told me,
or she said, both are equal.
she
Okay.
told me you you are
She told me. She's
okay.
speaking to me.
Oh,
You need to use logics. She said, or she said, or she told me.
she told me I am the only person.
I am.
I I was
I was the only person. I was the only person.
she knows.
She knows or she knew? Present to
She
past.
knew
She knew.
who likes classical music.
Present to past. I was the only person she knew. Who? Present to past.
Like
Liked
classical music.
classical music. She told me, or she said, I was the only person she knew who liked classical music. Remember, the change is from present to past, and all the structure changed to past. Now the easiest one. Command. Don't drink any more coffee, he told Max. When we have negative imperative,
He told Max not to.
Not to, and then the imperative, not to.
Drink any more coffee.
Not to, and the verb.
Drunk in past or in present.
Direct commands. You use to or not to plus the command. Okay. So the boss told them to stop talking. The father told his daughter not to be late. Notice, we use the verb as it is in the direct command. So not to drink any more coffee. Okay, he told Max not to drink any more coffee. It's the easiest because it's the report command. To plus the command, not to plus the command. We went to Morocco on our holiday last year. They said,
And they said,
remember, it's the same.
can you please?
They
Yes.
said,
They
same
said,
subject. They said,
they said they went to Morocco for our holiday last year.
okay. They said they went to Morocco for our holiday last year. As we check here the information, it says past simple change to
Past perfect.
So enjoyed change here to had enjoyed. Second, possessive adjectives. Remember, for example, we love our flat. We changes today, and the possessive refers today because it is impossible to say they say, okay, they had loved our flat. No, their flat, because we're talking about they. So check this and tell me which are the mistakes. Because it has two mistakes. Tell me which the mistakes are.
They said they went to Morocco. No, they said they went to. No, they said they had.
They said they.
They had to. No, they had went.
They had went to Morocco for our holiday last year. Which is the other mistake?
For their holiday last year.
For their holiday last year. So this is okay. But the verb tense is not okay. Do we say they had went to Morocco for our holiday last year? Please remember past perfect. For the past perfect, we have subject, had or hadn't, plus a verb in
Past.
past participle, not simple past. We use the verb in past participle. What is the past participle of go?
Gone.
So here, which is the option? They said they
Had gone.
had gone. Okay, they had gone. They said they had gone to Morocco for their holiday last year. We don't change the time because we're talking in past tense. Okay, they said that they went to Morocco for their holiday last year. Okay, let me get some more exercises because this is something that needs practice, lots of practice. Okay, so give me a second. Let me find the workbook for exercising this. Okay, because as I said, it's not pretty easy. Okay, especially because you have to take into account all the factors, all the elements. First, the verb tense. Okay. Secondly, where it is. Third, the time expressed. Fourth, the verb tense you use. Okay, so relative clauses. Give me a second. Let me find the natural word. Here it is. Passive voice, comparative and superlative of adverbs. Should be somewhere over here. Okay, writing. No, we have aquí collocations, as first Bill Token said, negative prefixes, report speech. Okay, let me share. So, rewrite the sentences in report speech. Jeff said, I don't want to go out late. So what's the change? Give me a second. Okay. I don't want to go out late. From present to? This is a change. Present.
Past simple.
To past. Okay, this is first of all, we determine the change. Present to past. Jeff said. What did Jeff said?
Jeff said.
He's talking about himself.
Yes. Yes, that he
doesn't to
want to went out late.
Want to go out late. There is one mistake. Remember, you're changing from present to past. Jeff said
went.
He doesn't went? Is that possible?
No, want.
He doesn't want, so you're changing from present to past.
To went.
He didn't. Bianca, we're changing from present to past. So it is not he doesn't want to go out late, but he didn't want to go out late. Okay? So it's not doesn't, but didn't. He didn't. because we're changing from present to past. So it's not he doesn't want to be late, but he didn't want to be late, to go out late. Okay? Even the only thing you have to change here is just the verb, because to go out late is already there. He didn't want to go out late. Martha said, we are leaving in the morning. Martha said,
They was leaving in the morning.
there is one mistake.
And there.
No. Martha said, we are leaving in the morning. Martha said, what's a mistake? There is one mistake.
I don't know.
It's a very, very basic mistake. Martha said, they were leaving in the morning. No, they was, they were. Okay, that's a basic mistake. He said, so we'll come over at 10 o'clock. He said,
She said,
he said,
uh,
he's talking about Zoe.
okay, okay.
He said,
He said, wait.
so we'll come over at 10 o'clock. He said,
She said, him.
who is he talking about? Himself or Zoe? He's referring to another person.
Yes, I know. But
He said,
he said, he also is.
who is he talking about? About himself or about Zoe?
Soy.
Zoe. So Zoe will come over at 10 o'clock. Zoe
Soy. Uh,
will changes to
would
would
come over at 10 o'clock.
at 10 o'clock. Good. Remember, she's not talking about himself. She's talking about Zoe. So Zoe will changes to would, and the rest, okay. So would come over at 10 o'clock. She said, Harris lived in that house all his life. She said,
She said,
she said,
she said, Harris.
Harris, like this.
No.
She said, Harry.
Had
Harry had
lived in Jack house all his life.
Okay, she had lived in that house all his life. Good. Present perfect to past perfect. How do you know it is has and not is? Because this is past participle. Okay, so it can't be is, but has. Sue said, I enjoyed the trip very much. Sue is talking about herself. Sue said, she's talking about
Sue
herself.
said she enjoyed. No,
Uh-huh.
she had enjoyed
Mm-hmm.
the trip very much.
The trip very much. She had enjoyed from simple past to past perfect. Okay. The teacher said to us, or the teacher told us, you can't leave the room before the end of the test. The teacher said,
Teacher said,
you eliminate this because it's not necessary. The teacher said,
we
we
can't. Oh no. We weren't.
We weren't
Leave the room before the end of the class.
Okay, so we have here want to know one mistake. I have you can't leave the room. Where is to be here? Nowhere. There is not a verb to be here. So we weren't is not correct. Because there is no verb to be here. Why would you use where if there is not verb to be? Which is the principal verb here. You can't leave the room before the end of the test.
Okay, we can't.
Can't. And if you have can't and you change present to past, what we use here? Which is the equivalent for the past tense can.
We can't. We can't left.
Past tense. If you say we
We could.
left, it's even more impossible. Is we could. We couldn't, because in this case it's negative. We couldn't leave. But I cannot say we can left. That is even more terrible, because remember that after a modal verb, okay, can, could, will, would, may, might, must, and should, verbs always go in simple form. So I cannot say we can left, but we couldn't live. So as you don't come tomorrow, the after tomorrow we'll continue working with the reported speech. Why? Because then we have reported questions.
Mr. The Wednesdays, I don't can.
That's why. I don't can. Oh my God.
No puedo venir los miércoles.
Use English. You know how to say is I cannot come on Wednesday. Okay. So day after tomorrow, we keep on working on report speech. Okay. So thank you for coming, Bianca. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.